I got a weird feeling that Keith Thurman gonna win. I don't know why, and I don't know how, but I got a weird feeling that Keith Thurman gonna win. Like, or he might drive him or something. Like, I don't know. I think he might just catch it.
I find it easier to believe Sebastian Fundora doing everything that he needs to do and executing than I do Keith. And I think right now, Fundora wins this fight.
He's a bit of a nightmare, but he's also easy to hit. But he's also a real tough motherfucker that gets hit and it keeps coming, you know? So it's hard to box him. It's hard to be strategic. When you fight Fundora, expect that you're going to be in one of the hardest fights.
Boxing pros give their bold predictions for the clash between Keith Thurman and Sebastian Fundora. Thurman's experience, power, and ring IQ may give him an edge, while Fundora's height, pressure, and volume punching pose real threats.
Fight coming up with Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman, man. It's going to be a banger of a fight, I tell you that. Regardless of who comes out the winner, I know the fans want to win for sure. Me personally, I think Sebastian Fundora is a nightmare for anybody in the ring. 6'4", 6'5", 154 pounds, man. It's crazy. He's not just a frail guy in there. He's powerful, he's strong, and he's bringing the heat. Then on the other side, you got Keith Thurman. You know, one-time Thurman, he's going to use his footwork, he's going to use his movement, and he's going to try to land the devastating shots like he used to. Keith Thurman been out the ring for a while, and it's going to be hard to shake that ring rust off against a formidable champion like Fundora, man. It's going to be tough, so I give the edge to Fundora for sure. And if Keith does pull it off, it definitely will shock me. But the last thing to lead the fighters, they say, is the powers.
Sebastian Fundora defends his WBC Super Welterweight title against former unified welterweight ruler Keith Thurman in what is one of the most stylistically intriguing matchups in recent boxing memory.
Fundora wins. I think the thing with Fundora, he's very tall, and when he throws punches, it's like he just throws down and it doesn't take much energy. It's not like his punches are physically hard, but they're very stingy. And they just non-stop, bump, 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 bump. And with that type of style, it doesn't make you breathe, it doesn't make you rest, unless you work your legs. And I think Keith Thurman's good at working his footwork, and he's able to, I don't know, maybe maneuver and then punch and come in different angles. His head's all over the place at times, you know, he's able to work the body. So it's going to be an interesting fight, but I'm with how Fundora fought in the last fight, I feel like
Keith Thurman is extremely confident heading into his clash with Fundora. He insists he's fully prepared, mentally sharp, and ready to dominate, even claiming Fundora will realize he's facing a higher level of fighter once the bell rings.
You taking on arguably the biggest challenge, resume-wise and physically in the division. He's facing Sebastian Fundora. What's your thoughts on the fight?
Just a great fight, man, you know? I mean, I love fighting the best, and Fundora's that man right now, you know? He's got the WBC world title, and he's got some great victories under his belt. He's growing, he's maturing, and like you said, man, I mean, he's just an obstacle for anybody at 154, but there ain't no test like the Thurman test, you know? Some way, somehow, I find a way to do it better than the rest, all right? The way that I get up in there and I start throwing these hands, you know, that's the real fire. He calls himself the Towering Inferno, but I'm a Florida boy, so you know I already been packing that heat my whole...
Most boxing experts are leaning toward Fundora over Thurman, mainly due to Thurman's age, inactivity, and recent performances. Many analysts believe Fundora's youth, size, and volume give him the edge, with veteran Gary Russell Jr. also backing Fundora to win convincingly.
A little running in, man. I was thinking about the fight, man. Keith Thurman and Fundora. Everything in me want to go with Keith. That's my man. We came up together. We go way back. But there's a big part of me that actually want to go with Fundora. My bad, Keith, man. But I gotta keep it real with myself and the fans, man. I just wanted to put it out there, man. I'm rooting for Keith. I hope Keith win. He definitely always got a puncher's chance. Hopefully he can get Fundora up out of there, but in my personal opinion, I'm going with Fundora.
Undefeated star Jiren Ennis admitted he is unsure who will win between Keith Thurman and Sebastian Fundora. He pointed out that both fighters have strong advantages, making it a very close and unpredictable matchup.
I think Fundora, I really think Fundora gonna win because well, at first I was thinking Fundora was gonna win because he younger, he got the length, he got the reach. Thurman old, I don't think, when the last time he been in the ring? I don't remember the last time he been in the ring.
He fought in Australia not too long ago,
Yeah.
but before that he been out of the ring for a minute.
That's what I'm saying. Then again, I don't know. I just got a weird feeling like, I don't know, Bill. Got a weird feeling, yo.
I ain't gonna speak on what fight, but last time you had a weird feeling, it turned out to be true though.
Yeah. Every time though, I got a weird feeling that he going either win or drop it. I don't know. One or the other. Either Keith Thurman gonna drop him or he gonna win. I don't know. But I don't know. Be the best man win though.
Now you gotta, I know you don't watch boxing, but you gotta watch that fight. If the Virgil fight would have came through, they ordered you to be the mandatory.
Yeah.
So you gotta watch that one. We'll see.
Former world champion Sean Porter has pointed out that Keith Thurman's age could be a serious disadvantage in this fight. He believes being older and less active may affect Thurman's timing and stamina, especially against a younger, high-volume fighter like Fundora, who can apply constant pressure.
I had no shadow of a doubt that Keith would beat Fundora, and I might have been just kind of playing a mind game with myself, but just knowing all of the attributes that Keith has, that fight goes away and then it comes back. And when it comes back, now I have to be realistic and honest with myself. Like, hey, this is the Keith of old, and you remember everything that he could do, and and I know personally, as time goes by, if you aren't polishing that stuff, it's still there, but it's just ultimately ends up being there. That's the biggest question, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm 50-50 on the answer. I don't have a definitive yes. I know that Keith is gonna take the right chances. He's gonna go for broke. He's gonna do what he has to do. And I don't have a definitive no. Keith is over the hill. He's just going in there, to try to show himself and stuff like that. I think he still wants to be on top of the world of boxing. I think he believes that he can still be on top of the world of boxing. But you got a kid that's looking at the top of the world of boxing. He's not truly there yet. I think he just needs the right dance partner. Even though he's had that with Tim a couple of times, he just needs the right dance partner to really get him over that ledge of becoming one of the elite guys in the world of boxing.
Porter believes that for Keith Thurman to win, he must target broken spots, exploiting openings in Sebastian Fundora's defense. However, Porter still leans toward Fundora, saying his size, pressure, and activity likely carry him to victory for Thurman.
You look at how Zhu, right before he got stopped in the corner, he had a barrage of shots that were effective against Fundora. Can he put together sequences like that? He'll have to. Thurman will have to go for broken spots, or else over the course of 12 rounds he'll get run over. Fundora should win. Fundora should handle his business. He's much younger. He has a lot of the kryptonite that gives Keith problem, volume and withering body shots, and Fundora should stop him.
Yeah.
But Keith, if he goes for broke, can make it an explosive fight. Yeah. Do you think he will?
That's why I take deep press.
Many of Sebastian Fundora's former opponents have emphasized just how tough he is to face. Fighters like Tim Zhu described Fundora as a nightmare to fight, noting his awkward style and ability to keep coming even under fire. While Brian Mendoza highlighted the challenge posed by Fundora's height and reach, saying his lateral movement was key to finding success against him. He also admitted that preparing for Fundora's unique physical traits was difficult, stressing how hard it is to deal with his length in the ring.
It's kind of interesting, it's tough to get ready for, a guy with that height at this weight class. He has a lot of advantages against you in the ring, but, the main thing that a lot of people didn't recognize in my fight with him was the lateral movement. They noticed him getting downhill on me and kind of landing shots, but they didn't notice how many shots I was able to get out of the way of. And so, yeah, the lateral movement was a big factor for me, and and a couple other things, you know, I'll keep in the vault because I'm still trying to get the rematch with him. So, you know, we'll see, but I honestly think Thurman's a big threat because he's known, you know, for really good lateral movement. He knows how to get you to cross your feet up and come in with that leaping hook, which, you know, as we saw in my fight with him, that, you know, that can be his kryptonite. So yeah, you know, I'm looking forward to this one, and we'll see, but I think Thurman's a big threat.
Jamante Clark also made it clear that his bout with Sebastian Fundora was anything but easy, and his respect for Fundora's skills reflects just how tough the champion is. In their 10-round split draw, Clark stood toe-to-toe with the much taller, rangy Fundora and pushed him throughout, forcing a close decision that some felt Clark deserved. The competitive nature of that fight showed Clark believes Fundora presents a real challenge for any top contender, as the southpaw had to work hard to navigate Fundora's height, reach, and awkward style.
Punches and bunches. It was intense. Every round, for the round to start, he'd just smile over at me, and I'm like, okay, here we go with it. We at it again. Like, we're back at it, so I got to be on top of my game. So it's probably one of my best fights.
Bosnis, trainer and father of Jiren Ennis, views the matchup between Sebastian Fundora and Keith Thurman as a compelling, evenly matched fight. He emphasizes that both fighters are highly skilled, which makes predicting the outcome difficult. Thurman is known primarily as a powerful puncher, but he also has the ability to box strategically and move effectively around the ring. In contrast, Fender is capable of boxing, but typically prefers engaging on the inside, using his reach and size to pressure opponents. Andis highlights that this stylistic contrast makes the fight unpredictable and exciting. Because of the fighters' respective strengths and styles, Andis rates the contest as 50-50, acknowledging that either competitor has a legitimate chance to win depending on strategy and execution on fight night.
Last question, Mr. Mosey. Sebastian Fundora, Keith Thurman. Of course, that's a fight that's going to affect you down the road.
That's a good fight.
Because we all know y'all want the belts. Yeah. What you think of that fight?
I think that's a good fight, too. I think that's a good fight. You got Fundora, throws a lot of punches. He can box when he want to box, but he like to fight inside. Then you got Thurman, a puncher. He can box and he can move. Thurman's not a bad fighter at all. Good fighter. You know what I mean? Both of them good fighters, man. So I don't know what to say about that. You know what I mean? I don't know what to say. Who would win? I call it a 50-50.
Yo, have you ever went up against somebody that was like that size at that kind of weight class?
I don't box guys like that.
Yeah. How do you have success against them?
Man, how I had success, I was crooked. I used to box.
While most analysts and boxing professionals praise Fundora, Boozy Andis points out a major vulnerability: his tendency to drop his hands during fights. This flaw is critical because it exposes Fundora to counters, particularly from skilled punchers like Keith Thurman. When a fighter lowers their guard, openings appear in both the head and upper body, making it easier for opponents to land precise damaging shots. And specifically notes that sliding in with a right-hand punch followed by a left hook can exploit this weakness effectively. Instead of relying on a single knockout blow, using combinations while Fundora's hands are down increases the chance of success. Essentially, Fundora's hand positioning creates predictable moments, and a sharp tactical fighter can capitalize on them to gain an advantage in the ring.
Make them do something they normally don't do, because most of the guys is tall and box. They normally don't have to move and come after nobody. The guys normally come to them. So you gotta switch up sometimes. Make them come to you and set them up. You know what I mean? Even though you're supposed to box your way in and go to the body and the head, sometimes you gotta switch it up though. You know what I mean? You can't be doing what they think you're gonna do. Do stuff that they don't think you're gonna do. You know what I mean?
That makes sense because everybody likes to come forward on those guys.
Exactly.
So that's the style that they're normally used to going up against.
And I like guys when they come to me because I shout up when they come to you. You know what I mean? Yeah, come to me, put this together. You know what I mean? I like fighting guys like that.
Keith was a big puncher at 147.
Right.
Hasn't had knockouts in a while.
Yeah.
We've seen Fundora hit the deck before.
Right.
We've seen Fundora stop. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So, do you try to set up the one shot, or do you try to slowly break Fundora down?
I would not try to set up no one shot. You got to put them punches together when you fight a guy like Fundora. You know what I mean? Then later on, you stick that shot in and try to take it out. You know what I mean? That right hand, you know what I mean? But every time Fundora fights, he drops his hands. He's so tall, he drops his hands. That's when you slide in and drop down and come up top, boom, with the right hand and left hook behind it. Not just one shot, you know what I mean? Just in case you miss the right hand. But you gotta get in. You gotta get in sometimes. You know what I mean? There's sometimes I would switch up. You know what I mean? Frustrated. You gotta frustrate.
Analysts expressed concerns about Keith Thurman's inactivity and its potential impact against Sebastian Fundora. Thurman, now in his mid-30s, has had multiple layoffs over the past few years, which could affect his timing, stamina, and sharpness. While he remains a skilled and experienced fighter, prolonged absences make it challenging to maintain peak performance against a younger, active opponent like Fundora. Fundora, though not dramatically improving, has continued fighting and refining his style, giving him a rhythm advantage. Analysts also worry about Thurman's susceptibility to injuries during training, which has previously disrupted his fight preparations.
Well, Keith for me has been too inactive as of late. He's had several years off, a couple times, 3 times I think, and I think that's gonna hold him back in this fight. He's getting a little older. He's 35, 36, somewhere in there. And Fundora seems to be getting better, not much better, but getting better as a champion. So I see a tough fight for Fundora, but I see Fundora.
Marcos Villegas expressed concern over Keith Thurman's health going into his fight with Sebastian Fundora. Villegas emphasized that Thurman has had multiple long layoffs, which already make him a vulnerable target in the ring. His main worry is that Thurman could sustain an injury during training or the fight itself, potentially affecting his performance or even forcing a cancellation. While Thurman remains a highly skilled and experienced fighter, Valle hopes that he can stay healthy throughout preparation and on fight night. Staying injury-free is crucial for Thurman to maximize his chances, especially against an active, improving, and physically imposing opponent like Fundora, who will be eager to capitalize on any weakness.
Yeah, you know, that's the big thing for me as well, is looking at it is, like, one, I'm just crossing my fingers that Thurman doesn't get hurt. Like, you know, it's happened before where like he's done a full prep just about for fight and then an injury happens with them, you know? So I know there's still some time left before now in the fight. So like, that's kind of like running in my head is like, oh man, I hope he just even makes it to the fight. The other thing is yeah, you mentioned it, the activity of a Keith Thurman versus someone who's young in Sebastian Fundora, who's been more active, even though it's been a while since the last fight that he had against Tim Tszyu, I want to say almost a year ago. But also too, like, I feel at this point, Fundora is just like on another gear, like in terms of like confidence and momentum and mentality. And I think that plays even a bigger part to me in the fight.
Well, most definitely. Once you become champion, there's, you know, people have said that once you become champion, you become 30% better than you were before you were champion, just because you got something to lose now.
Keith Thurman has openly discussed why he chose to fight Sebastian Fundora, explaining that the opportunity came as a world title shot and he saw it as a strategic move in his career. Thurman also questioned the hype around Fundora, admitting he doesn't fully understand what makes him so dangerous. While others see Fundora as a difficult and awkward fighter, Thurman believes he has already faced tougher and more skilled opponents throughout his career. He pointed out that Fundora has been hurt and even stopped before, suggesting he is far from unbeatable. At the same time, Thurman emphasized that he is not like the other fighters Fundora has faced. He insists his experience, ring IQ, and punching power bring a completely different challenge, one Fundora hasn't seen before.
The options in the division might have been looked at as or more lucrative that might not be as dangerous. Why Sebastian Fundora? Why right now?
Well, why is he dangerous? What's so dangerous? Y'all told me Tim Tszyu was he's so scary. He's the biggest and baddest. Man, come on. Wow. What's so scary, bro?
6'6", come forward fighter, throws punches and bunches, southpaw.
Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Fundora might hit you, but can he really hit me? We gonna find out. We gonna find out. All right. My name's not Tim. All right. I'm not Erickson Lubin.
Tim Bradley breaks down a boxing matchup between Keith Thurman and Fundora. He argues that Thurman, even at his peak, struggled against a 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao, and now, as a more mature fighter, he's unlikely to handle Fundora. Fundora is praised for his size, reach, punching power, work rate, and granite chin, having absorbed tough shots before. The creator predicts a likely stoppage victory for Fundora, though he acknowledges Thurman technically has a puncher's chance. He also emphasizes that boxing bets should favor Fundora for a realistic outcome, but notes the unpredictability of the sport.
Studying the Keith Thurman all morning versus Southpaw. Man, 40-year-old Manny Pacquiao, I watched that Keith Thurman fight. Keith was at his absolute peak then, right? Ain't lost nothing that. Yeah, he was supposed to beat Manny Pacquiao. He couldn't beat a 40-year-old Pacquiao. He ain't beating a damn young Fundora. Hell no. With all that speed and that length, and that punching power coming from Fundora, and that work rate, that's all it was for Pacquiao, was work rate. Pacquiao put those combinations together, had him on his bike. Yeah, And you got what that boy Keith Thurman, bagging out with his hands down. Yeah, trying to get away. You can't do that with Fundora. Hell no, man. And this ain't the Keith Thurman of the old. This a different Keith Thurman.
Do you think Fundora really has what it takes to stop Keith Thurman, or is Thurman still dangerous? Drop your predictions in the comments.